Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. You're listening to Crowfall Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network. Brought to you by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems. And by Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter to get your first month free. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crowfall Reporter. This is episode 6. I'm Chris, and I am joined, as always, by none other than Adorable himself. Hello, Bill.
Good day, Chris. I'm amazed. I'm happy to be back, and I'm more happy that there's actually some news to talk about today.
There most certainly is. And, of course, we've got the Mattiest of Matts that I know, Mr. at MMO Matty. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Oh, wow. Have we taken a little vacation further south than we usually are?
Yes.
Well, we do have lots of stuff to talk about this week. It has been a busy couple of weeks here in the world of Crowfall. So let's get right into things. First of all, before we get to the news, what have we been doing in the land of games? Bill, why don't you start?
It's easy for me. For the gaming that I've been able to get in, I've played Guild Wars 2, and that's about it. Not even any PvP either. Just the new expansion, and yeah. I'm hoping to diversify my palette a little bit as we step into the holiday season and everything like that, though.
Diversifying your gaming portfolio is always seen as a very strong.
It's a stable way of managing your gaming enjoyment. If you diversify, you're less likely to get hit with major patch issues or disappointment in horrible game releases.
And if there's a market downturn in the quality of content that's being released, then you don't have anything to worry about with properly diversified gaming portfolio.
You can move on to the next game in your portfolio, no problem.
Mm-hmm. But how does the gaming crisis in Southern Europe affect all the? No, okay. How about you, Matt? What have you been playing?
As always, I've been driving around, smashing portals, playing a little Ingress. I just recently devoured Tales from the Borderlands. Holy crap, that was awesome.
Did you go through the whole thing in like one set of days, or?
I think maybe 3 days.
Oh, wow. Like right from you didn't do it one episode as they were released at a time?
No, it was all of them all at once.
Nice.
Yes, it was awesome. And then I'm playing a little game called Endless Sky that is a top-down 2D semi-pixelated version of Elite Dangerous, but not VR. It's just cool. Anyway, yeah.
Awesome.
That's it.
That sounds like fun.
It is.
As for me, I'm surprised at this. I'm shocked, in fact, that I'm the first one to say this. I've been playing Fallout 4. It's okay. I'm sorry. Like, I've never really loved the Skyrims or the Fallouts, so take that with a grain of salt. Understand that I'm not necessarily the target audience for this game, but they're supposed to be these great games, and I find Fallout 4 would maybe more properly be called Fallout 3.5. Or if New Vegas is 3.5, then 3.6, because it doesn't feel like there's this big shift to the game. Looks a little prettier, there's a couple of new mechanics in there, but really, overall, you got Fallout 3 again. With little tiny changes.
Hey, Bethesda, I'm okay with that.
Well, but I it's just, that's fantastic for you. That's not what I'm looking for.
I know.
Right? So I was hoping for some big shift. I'm not. I'm going to plow through the story because the story is good. I am connecting to the characters. And I like smashing things with my power armor. So that's that.
Awesome.
I have also been playing Sword Coast Legends. I finished that story as well. Very nice. Good story. I got some issues with the game as a whole, though, so I'll talk about that in a video at some other point. Jump back into Rift. just the last few days. Decided to check out the new content. Went in there thinking, because I had heard somewhere, maybe I was wrong, I thought there was going to be some content for all levels in the new Plain Touched Highlands. Apparently not, because I got my face smashed in with my not yet max level character that I brought. I decided not to bring my max level in there. That was a mistake. Just in case anybody's wondering, face was promptly smashed. And then I've been playing some Strongholds in Guild Wars 2. I'm not loving Heart of Thorns either. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a horrible person. Story's great.
You're just
everything else about
wrong.
it is
That's all.
Just but Strongholds, wow, I could live in that PvP game type. It is absolutely my favorite, hands down, no question about it. Just absolutely fantastic. Well balanced, nice and challenging, and not just hold and grab the points. There's a flow to it, which, is what I'm hoping to get out of Crowfall PvP, is a flow, not just fight, but a little more strategy to it.
I'm hoping for that too. That would be super cool.
Because I'm great at the strategy part, but the twitchy don't die part, I'm only okay at that. And
I don't even know if I'd qualify as okay at that. I definitely like the strategy part better.
So I think the next time we do some gaming, we've got to do some Guild Wars 2 Strongholds. And
How are you finding Strongholds as a free agent? Because I know that there's a lot of benefits that happen in Strongholds that of being part of a guild. Like being part of a guild maximizes Stronghold.
Well, being part of a group and working together is definitely part of it. But I have built my Revenant spec for Strongholds in such a way that I don't try to get myself locked into battles. I try to be the first one to get to... first of all, I try to take out their trebuchet, always, just because it's a pain in my ass. So take out their trebuchet, get all the hero points when they spawn up, or at least stop other people from getting it. So I'm perfectly happy to go in, jump in with a stun, hit them, and then run away, and then jump back in again with a stun when they try to commune with the point, and just stop them from getting it until more people come over. I'm never going to win those big battles. I'm just not a good enough player for that, but I sure as heck can make sure that they don't win. And then I support my my hero units. It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So I found a game style that works for me. And even if I lose, I feel like I've contributed, which is sometimes not the case in other PvP types. And what, again, bring it back to Crowfall, what I'm really hoping to get out of Crowfall. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to feel like I contributed and it was a good fight. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I care about. Bill, you laughed a little bit. Are you worried that it's not going to be a good fight because I'm on your team?
I would never say that out loud.
You wouldn't say it out loud, but you'd think it.
Of course not.
All right. Quick mention, our Patreon campaign, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Thanks a lot to everyone who supports us there. I've been sending out some keys to all our patrons before we have any giveaways. We've got a giveaway coming up for another game for Neverwinter on Xbox. And I offer to our patrons before I put anything out in the giveaways. And I tend to give one to anyone who wants one for the keys. So if you want to get access to those keys like that, that's a great way to get to sort of jump the queue. But if you just want to enter the giveaways, those will be up on the site as well. So let's move things along to the news. All right, first we have got our latest update to backers posted on the site, which we'll link on the show notes. You can go check it out yourself if you want to go into a little bit more detail about some things or want to find out some details. First of all, they have reached the 2.4 million crowdfunding goal, which is fantastic. They got a really friendly picture of everybody. So happy that they reached that. Yay! Yeah, so that's really fantastic. I don't remember. Does anyone remember? I tried to look real quick as we were actually going into the intro music, and I was looking ahead a little bit. Does everybody remember if 2.4 was a tier, or is it 2.5, like a reward tier? that they were going for? Or a goal? Stretch
Do
goal?
not remember,
No,
unfortunately.
neither do I.
Okay.
I want to say that it was every 100,000, but
I don't think it was every 100,000 anymore. I think that was a little bit earlier. I think they still... Anyways, we'll try and check that out. Maybe somebody can look as I talk about more stuff here, see if you can find it. Next piece of news, Hunger Dome 1.1 is almost here. Pre-alpha testers...
Timeout.
Yep.
There's a stretch goal at 2.415 million.
Oh, and what is that?
To have a QA lead hired on, and that's it.
You know what? I think I heard that they were hiring. I think so. I think they hit that.
Well, they must be really close because, again, we're talking $15,000.
Yeah.
And I think their overall funding, they've taken funding that wasn't crowdfunding. And
the venture capitalists, they talked about that.
I think they're at about $6 million for overall funding so far. So
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, at 5.988114 million to be sort of precise.
Sort of precise.
Thank you, Bill.
The pledge total that they're at right now is 2,412,178.
There you go.
So really, if you've got like $2,800 right now, you could push that. You could hire that QA lead.
That's right.
By yourself,
and it would be all you.
Yeah.
Okay, Hunger Dome 1.1 is almost here. Pre-alpha testers will be added first, followed by Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. Alpha 2, yes! Represent! Backing date, when you back the project, will determine when you get added. So it'll go backing date in pre-alpha testers, backing date in Alpha 1, backing date in Alpha 2. That's going to put me kind of at the tail end of things, because I believe I backed the last night. Or a couple days before. I was real at the tail end.
Well, it'll be curious about when the backing counts. Like if it counts your very first ever pledge, like if you jumped in on the Kickstarter at day one, but you bought a lower tier and then upgraded later, or
I think it says
when
somewhere
you bought that tier.
No, I think it says somewhere it's from when your very first pledge is. I'm fairly certain.
There you go. So you could get those of you who may have pledged a small amount earlier and decided, you know what, I'm really enjoying this. I want to support the game more. Here's some more money, and get yourself bumped up to, I don't know what, Amber or something like that. You'll get Alpha 2. Mm-hmm. And you would then look at that as far as backing date goes, that it would be the date in the for your first pledge, not for that upgrade pledge. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. And this will be a 3-week test. I'm really hoping that, again, that they leave this open over the holiday break. I think that would be really fantastic. A lot of people get extra time off then, and it'd be a great chance to, even if it's, well, no, but see, there's a plus and a minus, right? Because they're allowing people to stream everything, talk about everything, etc. If the server breaks while people are on holidays, then you can't just say, oh, well, server's broken, it's alpha, because there's so many people streaming. So maybe I don't know. You got to leave someone in the office.
Maybe it's a good stress test for them then too.
Well, but when the game's live, you're always going to have someone monitoring the servers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, but keep in mind too that it's not like a constantly on kind of thing. Like this is an actual, it's scheduled event testing. Like you're going to have windows where testing is going to happen, and I believe that they're an East Coast company too, if I remember correctly. So that's a thing we have to deal with.
True.
Well,
very true.
When I say we, I mean you, because I've got my ghetto beta 2 backer level or something like that.
I think I'm Alpha 3, so I don't know if I'd get in on this one, but I'm getting close.
You're getting close. And then, like we said, this is going to be 4,000 backers with pre-alpha through Alpha 2 access to add. 4,000 backers. Yay. That's going to be a lot of people. This is a big jump from, I bet you they had just a few hundred in the first one.
Well, think about this. They have over 90,000. No, pardon me. They have over 23,000 backers now, and over 90,000 people signed up for beta testing.
Right. So this is not even hitting 5% yet.
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
But think about that. That's before the game is even really, like, there's nothing there, and that's your
No.
player base right now. Now, to
Yeah.
be fair, I think it would take it could dip, but it would take a catastrophic event kind of thing for those numbers to dip significantly. So, I mean, in my mind, it's a nothing but up scenario, which means that it looks like this is going to be a really full game when it finally launches.
Yeah,
which is exciting.
Yay.
Next bit to 2015 pledge packages will be retired and replaced with 2016 pledge packages. 2015 packages will be better. 2016 pledge packages will be better than launch packages, though, which I believe we're still targeting a 2017 launch.
Yeah. So if you go to the post on backers.crowfall.com, they actually tape out exactly what's in each 2016 pledge package. Like, they've got the contributor 2016 priced at $44. They've got backer 2016 priced at $69. If you're a 2016 backer level, that's your beta 1 that gives you digital game, art book, soundtrack, a quarter horse for 2016, because why would you want the 2015 model? That's just old. Terrible.
I've heard they redesigned the front end,
but that's they gave it braces. I don't know. Anyway, so you could check out the different tiers there, but yeah, it appears that you're getting a little bit less per dollar for these 2016 packages than what we saw for the 2015 Kickstarter packages.
Yes. And I like what they're doing in that sorry, I'm just looking through all the different pledge packages and looking how far up in the new ones you have to go to get the collector's edition. Anyways, I like that they're doing this. If you gave them your money, if you showed your support for the game early, then you are going to get just incrementally better stuff. And that's fantastic. You're taking a bigger risk, so you should have a bigger payoff. Mm-hmm. So there you go. As we move forward, every time we move forward in a milestone, the game is less likely to fail, less likely to be vaporware, and that makes it a more safe investment. Not investment's the wrong word, a safe bet, which is really what you're doing with Kickstarter.
I was going to call you out on that investment word.
Yeah, no. I meant investment as in where to put my money, not investment as in investments. So it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm getting more and more excited. And they steal my line, by the way. They steal my see you in game, that's mine. Thank you.
Yeah, you should let them know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Say they can use it as long as they bump up the whole podcast to Amber level.
Of course. Yeah.
So anyway,
all right,
moving on. J. Todd Coleman had interesting interview over at 10 Ton Hammer, starting to dive into the lore of Crowfall. We've obviously been starting to see some of the lore profiles of the different gods that are out there, and kind of we're getting a little bit of information leaked in about the nature of the hunger and that kind of thing. So so this wound up actually this was a pretty cool interview. I mean, I don't think there was any big reveals or anything like that really came out of this, but it talked a lot about kind of the themes that they're coming up with and why they're telling the story of the game the way they're doing it now. So basically, the kind of the underpinnings of the game, where they've really built the story of the game around the gods and the creation story for the universe and that kind of thing, really points back to the nature of the characters. Like the characters that you're going to be playing in Crowfall are considered demigods. They're immortal. They come back to life when they die, and they actually made a really interesting point in the interview to point out that yes, this is actually a part of the game. It's not your players are not coming back when they die because it's convenient and that's the mechanic that games usually work with. They're trying to roll that in and say, okay, this is part of the story. People are coming back when they die for a reason, and we'll get into that here a little bit, but so they talk about that. They talk about the Pantheon. They talk about kind of the references and the influences that are coming in from the story that we're going to start noticing. There's obviously a lot of very clear mythological pieces in there. We're seeing some obviously some Roman gods, god references, some Norse god references, that kind of thing in there. But they specifically called out Roger Zelazny's Amber series as being an influence. I thought you might like that, Matt.
Yes.
They mentioned specifically American Gods by Neil Gaiman, which I love. That was such a good book. I highly recommend that to anybody who's interested. It doesn't even have, even if you're not into fantasy reading, it's not a fantasy novel at all. It's just great though.
He's just an amazing storyteller, and it just Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin, because that influences pretty much everything made for the last 5 years, I'm sure, at least.
Everything ever.
But where they're kind of pulling the influences is really about how these gods are fallible creatures with personalities that are not perfect. Like, these are not idealized gods. They're very imperfect, angry.
They killed
petty.
Gaia.
Yeah. There's
that, you know.
Yeah. So this is cool. Like, so that I thought is a very neat underpinning to it. They, for the first time that I've seen, they've actually put names, like, because we've talked about the game modes that have been happening, the order versus chaos versus balance type game modes. This is the first place I've seen it where they actually said that order is represented by the god Akron, who is one of the sons of the Allfather Big Daddy. I can't remember what his name is. But and then the Chaos faction is run by his brother Cain, which has ominous underpinnings if you think about it that way. And then the balance side is currently leaderless, but presumably it's born out of the void created by the death of Gaia. And again, the death of Gaia is kind of to me, it's kind of hinting that that the death of Gaia is going to be really key to the whole story of everything here. Like, what do you guys think? Like, before I put my theory out there, how do you think that the death of Gaia fits into everything here? If you thought about it,
it's going to tie in with how the hunger came about and why the universe. I'm sure. It's the whole. He talked about the whole creation being tied to the whole destruction, the link between the two, and hand in hand. Yeah. This interview has got me. I want more. I want to know more. I want to know more. Yeah.
As this is the staple of the MMO Reporter Network and our baseless speculations, what if the hunger is really Gaia, like a mutation of Gaia or a corruption of Gaia? Gaia's not dead. Gaia's just been turned evil, for lack of a better term.
Or is seeking vengeance.
And chat room, Happy Hansel just said Valken is the All-Father. Thank you, Happy Hansel.
Yeah. So here's, exactly. In my mind here, I've painted it that, I mean, obviously, so far we know that Gaia has died a violent death, whether by murder or whether she killed herself or something like that. We don't actually know. Like, the whole red hands thing could be either way that we've seen in the art. But it's amazingly coincidental that you've got the violent death of the creation piece, the god of bringing life to everything, coinciding with this disease that's consuming worlds in the entire universe, it just devouring all life, not even just living beings, but turning everything into a lifeless husk. I think there's a really neat play that's happening there that could turn into an amazing story down the road. Like, this is the lore that they're building with this. I feel like there is really compelling stories to be told about this universe, and 10 years down the road, maybe we're going to be seeing single player RPGs come out or novels being written. I don't know. Maybe I need to start writing that novel right now. Jump the gun.
Yeah. And does anybody else totally have vibes? What was that?
Oops, sorry.
Does anybody else have vibes of the Shadowbane box art with the Minotaur in that group of 3 shot?
Gee, I can't imagine why.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really fantastic interview. And I think that, especially for a PvP game, it would be very easy to go light on the lore and to just have a cursory story in there and focus on all the other stuff. But I think the way that the game is set up, I think that this is going to pull people in deeper. And it's going to allow for RP and PvP, which doesn't often happen, but not necessarily. It just give it like automatically you've got a battle cry, right? You've got your god. But the other side of it is you have to be really careful as a developer because they have to build enough draw on each of the different gods that when they have those big free-for-alls, that's, you know, every god against every other god, then you're going to get people that are going to be willing to be part of those different factions and fly the banner of those gods.
And they talk about that a little bit in the interview, a little bit more too. Like, what about the players that have been playing for a long time and they've established themselves as like, everybody starts off as basically just a scavenger and they're collecting things for their champion god. At some point, is somebody going to become powerful enough, or is there going to be like a story mechanism where the player can say, "Hey, wait a second, what the heck is going on here? Why are we delivering all these artifacts to our god? What does it all mean?" Instead of just being this courier for them.
Right. What's in it for me?
Yeah, or what's the, like, is there some kind of ascension for maybe special players that are excellent couriers? Do they get to become uber couriers? Do they get to become maybe their own minor god instead of being a demigod? I don't know. Anyway, there's lots of open doors here, and this interview kind of taped out a lot of it makes me feel better because I've always been a bit of a lore junkie in an MMO, and to know that there's actually a fair amount of thought going into the lore background for what's ostensibly a PvP arena game is making me feel better.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I'm this interview got me wanting more, so I'm excited to see what they keep doing.
Well,
awesome.
Here, why don't you have some more?
Yes.
Shortly after that interview came out, they talked about the next kind of lore piece, which they talked about. They released the very first crow ever created, named creatively Hero. Hero is we don't know the background for Hero at this point, but we do know that he's the first immortal scavenger that's been created by the gods, and his immortality is actually a punishment. Like he committed some crime, and the punishment for him was to make it so that he could never die, or he could never completely die. He could never find peace in the afterlife. But when he does live regular lifetimes, at the end of he lives those entire lifetimes unaware of his previous lifetimes, but every time he dies, he's exposed to all of his sins and all of his previous lives, and feels sorrow and shame and pain and everything like that from each of those lives. So it's kind of an interesting character, and is an interesting character that could, in theory, pop up in every single game campaign that ever gets created. This could wind up being a general or a special NPC or something like that.
Guys, he looks sad.
He does look a little bit sad. He probably should, because he's done something terrible.
Yeah, and every time that he dies, he has to remember it. Oh,
he looks mean too. He's not the kind of guy you'd want to meet in a dark alley, let me tell you.
No, and I love the functional style of the armor. Like, that just looks workable, and they're keeping that that aesthetic style of the strong that neck guard on the front of the knight in this armor as well. That sort of tie-in, very nice. Love the aesthetics of that.
Yeah, no, it's actually a really impressive painting / drawing / whatever.
I'm going to say it's a digital painting.
Yeah, this almost looks like one of those things. This is like I'm surprised they didn't release this as like a desktop image or some kind of bonus that you get for certain.
I
backer
would
tiers.
Totally have a poster of that.
Yeah.
Like up, I know exactly where I'd put it right now. I can see where I'd put it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, anyway, check it out. check out the lore. It's if you're looking for something to fill the gap while you wait for beta 2 to roll around. It looks like they're starting to fill
not that
some
you're
gaps
talking
there.
about anybody specifically.
No,
Hey, Bill.
Could be anyone I'm talking about.
Could be. I'm sure. Next up is another interview that who did they talk to in this one?
That was
I
Blair.
can't remember. It was Blair. That's right.
Yeah.
Thomas Blair.
The folks over at MMORPG.com talked to Blair about a whole bunch of different things, actually. Talked about the archetypes and how they kind of released as they were developing the central powers. The knight being kind of the base building block one that they started with. Confessor came out as projectiles were coming out, group buffs for legionnaires, and then with the champion one, blinds and suppressions and stuff like that. Yeah.
So basically, they giving it the development cycle is really the technologies they come up with in order are the classes that are actually coming out. So at some point they're going to come up with stealth, and what do you know, we're going to see a stealth class appear in the testing.
Yeah,
exactly. And they're doing their darndest to walk a fine line of not making a bazillion powers that will eventually get discarded and not used, as well as not making it so you have one path and one path only. They are trying to make it so there are choices to be made, but not overwhelmingly with the actions and powers and all that stuff. So, yeah.
And I like the way that they've done it with the powers and the combination systems. You know, you work your way up to a stronger attack by using the same attack again and again. And that does allow you to have different powers, different animations, different feel for things, and alter the playstyle a little bit by just having still the one button. You're not working with, and when I jump back into Rift, that's one of the first things I notice. I've got my 4 action bars there. And I've got my Alt 1 through 6, and my Control 1 through 6, and my Shift 1 through 6, and then my regular 1 through 6, and then all the other buttons and stuff like that. But I use all those, and I have to use all those unless I load myself up with macros. And I don't love using macros. I find them almost cheating.
Well, and for me, the 4 power bar, the 4 power bars, the Alt 1 through 6, all of it, I find it overwhelming. I absolutely do. It is too much for me to do. So this is something that I'm really, really excited to see how they put it into game, and I'm really hoping it's something for simpletons like me that can use very, very well.
Yeah. Now the article here, and maybe this is just a piece that I missed in the beginning, but the article here casually dropped terms like disciplines and promotion, and I could swear either I never understood them when they were mentioned for the first time, or this is a fairly new feature. Like, is this were disciplines and promotions relatively new ideas?
No, they were right in from the origin.
Okay,
talked about that right from the very beginning. Disciplines are like they're the things that you're going to be learning over real time. So you set them to train, kind of like Eve-ish, as we go through stuff, and those are the ones they're going to take a certain amount of real time to learn. And promotions are a variation on that, which you'll be able to move up in a certain direction. So you'll be able to become a better champion, right?
Right. So like here, like in the about the game section, they actually talk about a promotion being like a knight being promoted to a sentinel, for example.
Yeah.
Whereas disciplines are like the ability trees that each class could have. Like, for example, like a knight could have archery, blacksmithing, and bounty hunter as different disciplines that they could work towards.
Correct.
Okay, so there you go. I'm learning something new.
Yay! Bill is braining.
It's a collaborative learning process here.
But I do have to say there are some players that really like, and Selenia, my wife, is one of those people. She didn't like using macros. She didn't like Guild Wars 2. She liked Rift and didn't like this part of WildStar, but she liked in Rift having all those abilities and then building her rotation out of that. And that was something that she really, really enjoyed. And she wouldn't be able to do this with this type of combat system. So, inherent in building any type of combat system, you are automatically alienating a certain amount of the population because they don't like that particular system.
And that's actually the last thing they touched on in this interview, was that combat and the abilities and stuff like that are the top priority because it is the biggest risk and there's the largest number of things that can go wrong.
Mm-hmm. They actually talked about that. They talked about that in the Q&A that we're going to mention here shortly as well. But but they've mentioned that a few times now, that basically this game is nothing without a robust combat system. So they throw that is the lightning rod for most of their effort right now.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. All right, let's move things along a little bit here. We're going to talk about our sponsors. You can go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter to check out Audible audiobooks. They are the best online audiobook provider that I have seen. I am a customer of Audible. I like using their audiobooks on the drive to work when I'm at a podcast, when I don't have anything to listen to. I don't feel like listening to music. My Audible audiobooks are where I go. And they've got some really... The biggest thing about them that I really like is the quality of the readers that they have for their audiobooks. They're really, really top notch. A lot of the times when you when you listen to an audiobook, they just have a little bit dry presentation. And I find that the vast majority of all of the audiobook readers at Audible are absolutely fantastic. And they've even got some all-stars. A lot of the times they get the author, but a lot of times they'll get a celebrity who's very, very good. I know there's a few people on there. Will Wheaton is one of those who goes on there all the time and reads a whole bunch of different books. So he's fantastic. And then Doghouse, go to doghousesystems.com and check them out. We were playing before the show, and I made myself a very, very nice computer, and it was very affordably priced. Actually, the Doghouse system came in at the most affordable of all of the boutique systems that we looked at building before the show. So go to doghousesystems.com/MMO Reporter, use the coupon code MMO Reporter, and you will get yourself a free 120 gig SSD along with everything that comes with your computer. So go check that out, doghousesystems.com.
All right, the next section up is the Ace Q&A for November. They asked a whole bunch of questions, and I'll just dive right in here. The first one was talking about if they're going to implement formations and stuff like that, a grid system, and when you line up a certain pattern, you get some kind of super bonusy good defense boost or something like that. Basically, not right away. Not right away. The devs think it's a pretty cool idea, and it may happen later, like a lot of stuff in this game.
Well, yeah.
it's early. I totally understand.
Okay.
It looks like they basically drew the line and said, you know what, there's certain things that we want to get in the game. This is a more complicated thing than just a Band-Aid we could throw onto the regular development cycle. So...
And the thing that you have to remember when we talk about all these numbers and the Kickstarter and the crowdsourcing and the venture capitalists and all that sort of stuff, Artcraft really at its core is an independent studio. Mm-hmm. They are not this, probably it's going to cost in the tens and tens of millions to develop Legion, the new World of Warcraft expansion, and that's just an expansion. They're coming up with a game from scratch. So we have to be very understanding that this is going to be a core of a game is what is going to be released. They're going to make it fun. They're going to have it be robust, but it will not be something where you can expect every single system under the sun.
And they've said that from day one, which is fantastic.
They know they've got about $6 million to burn through, and they have to be really disciplined about what they can actually finish for their $6 million, because again, being an independent company, being a crowdfunded company without a publisher backing them that could bail them out if they're overrunning or anything like that. They have to have something that can generate new revenue starting at the end of that $6 million,
Absolutely.
which sounds like a lot, but really isn't.
No. Right, you got to think how much. What is their team up to? Right, they're in the several dozens now, aren't they? And so how much is payroll a day? Right? And so yeah. Anyways, all right, moving on.
Well, I don't know. I one of the questions there that I
Sorry,
wanted
for the
to
next
jump
story,
on.
not the whole topic. That's what I meant.
Oh, I was going to say, there was the other question there that just, I wanted to, before we move on, I wanted to say warmed my heart was the fact that they basically said water, screw that.
They said basically they have to have something to show the edges of the map. So yes, there'd be some kind of ocean maybe or something like that. But the water question, basically, what I got from that was they hate it. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it.
They both looked like they ate something gross when that question was asked.
Maybe it was just Todd's hair.
Yeah.
Let's.
Wait a sec. Which hair?
Yeah, I was going to say there was a few options.
Yeah. I think my question was, will the Ganetians have burrow ability? How is it going to work? Is it going to be just a little effect that goes over the ground as they go underneath? Are they actually going to be burrowing using physics and voxels and stuff like that? And they said they don't know yet.
Well,
they got some back end work to do before they can figure that out.
It's low on the list. They're getting combat down before they start looking at, well, even from that, they've got to get regular building destruction and that kind of thing figured out. This is low on the list as I understand it, which I guess sort of makes sense because we're talking about archetypes ability or a single archetype's ability. In theory, that whole kind of sapping thing should be important as a game mode overall, but and they kind of talked about how that kind of functionality might roll into other archetypes, but we got that. So
anything else we want to talk about in this chunk of questions? We'll have the full list in the show notes and of course link to the video.
And Batman. There's
Batman.
a thing. There's a thing that's going to be like Batman, apparently.
Yeah, and I love the fact that when they do talk about it, here I'll play it for you here because it's funny.
In the monster video, what is on Billy's screen?
Batman.
When Todd says looks like Batman.
I love that.
Right,
the fact
so
that they
we've mentioned a couple times that
Batman.
while the main...
Batman. That's it. That's all you're going to know. Batman.
Well, for a game that's being so openly developed, this is their big secret. I almost have a feeling they're just playing and having fun rather than actually trying to keep a secret there.
Right.
But now I have to go look at that video again.
Yeah. It's Batman.
Definitely Batman. Definitely Batman.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Numbers Guy, who likes numbers and is fantastic with numbers. What is the next topic about?
So the next topic is
is it about numbers?
It is a little bit about numbers, believe it or not. Actually posted on Friday was the results for. Did you guys get the Crowfall survey that went out in October? And did you dutifully respond to all the appropriate questions and that kind of thing?
I did. It took a long time.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
No, you
didn't.
I know.
Now they don't know you, Matt. How can they know who you are unless you tell them everything about you? So anyway, basically that was it was actually apparently a survey being run by player volunteers, which looks like a bunch of MBA students from University of Texas or something like that, or Texas A&M, or it was Texas A&M, I think it was.
Let's just be clear. That's MBA, not NBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two different things. Pardon my Canadian accent. The so anyway, yeah. So this is essentially a community-run project for measuring the demographics of the Crowfall community, and there was some pretty interesting patterns that I thought came out of this. The first thing was that I was just about ready to close the article and not even add it to the show. That looking at the charts they put up there, apparently out of the 8,200 respondents that they have, 1,500 of them are 10 or under, which I had a hard time buying.
There's one age that's under 4 years old.
Yeah. So obviously we've got, or at least there's a blip on the chart that's under 4.
No,
and not to mention a significant number that are actually 4. So there's obviously,
if it's posted on the interwebs, it has to be true. So
yeah, I was going to say there's obviously some people that are not answering this survey correctly or legitimately or anything like that. So unfortunately, that kind of poisoned me a little bit to the rest of the results here. But if the rest of the results are true, there's some pretty neat stuff going on here. For example, it was kind of interesting to see. I was very proud of my Maple Leaf that Canada was the top non-American responder to the survey, which means that there might be a significant Canadian contingent in Crowfall, which could be cool.
The League of Maple Syrup providers. That's what we should call our
Yes.
guild.
Jeez, this is going to be friggin' maple syrup and sausages, because there was a 96% male respondent demographic. It was 96% of the people that responded to the survey were male, which is, well, and all humor aside, what an amazing number. How many things in this world are 95.6% male?
Wow.
Not many.
That's
half the human population in the world. I guess it's higher than 95.6%.
This is not like the Canadian cabinet. This is not gender equal.
See, like even the NHL isn't there because you got to count for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So
who beat the Canucks? I just want to say that.
Shush.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm bitter. Leave me alone.
I know.
So to me, I thought we were past this male-dominated gaming thing. Like, to me, that seems like an artifact of 15, 20 years ago. So I was stunned.
Ladies, come play the game too. It will be fun.
It makes me sound worse by having to have the statement beforehand, but without trying to make this about gender roles or anything like that, I wonder is it the PvP aspect of the game? Is it the crowdsourcing aspect of the game? Is it what is it about this game that has made the gender balance so not balanced, right? The gender gap so huge.
It could, and I mean, there's always the chance that it's a self-selective reporting thing, that somehow women are just 100 times less likely to reply to this kind of survey. But and I don't know why that would be, but I mean, even then, even if you factor in that it's a PvP game, I don't think PvP is this heavily male dominated. I
didn't think so either.
And I don't think crowdfunding is that heavily male dominated. I don't think that there's even a male domination in that. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
But like this, to me, I would love to see a deeper dive into that and figuring out the pattern or the reason behind that, because that could be, there's probably some huge marketing and sales type gains to be had there. If you're only hitting half the population with your message, that's just the boat is being missed.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I just love how detailed this whole thing is. This is fantastic. I love seeing this, and I would love to see this about every game. This is
really cool stuff. Like, it's just fun to see.
Fun like with numbers.
It's almost like flags, but but yeah, like getting into education, getting into hours worked weekly, that kind of thing is really cool. Like if you're gonna go visit this, though, make sure you've got like 20 minutes to actually dive through all this, because this isn't the kind of article you'll chew through in like 2 minutes and then move on. This is worth you'll be bored in 2 minutes, but interested in 20.
Right. I love that. I should keep that. Okay, so I want to move on to the next story, talking about the champion. We got to find out all about the champion's powers last last week, last show, but now we're going to find out all about the champion's gear. And this is just some artwork, really. We're just seeing some early graphics. And
Did you see that mace?
with the skull? And
Yes.
yeah, I know. That's the one I went to, too. That's the one. That will be the one.
Oh, my, yeah.
Yeah. They better have freaking visual customizations for your weapons so that I can keep that look on my champion forever.
Forever. Yeah, forever.
Forever. Until they have the flaming skull with spikes. Then I'll change it. But until then, skull with spikes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out.
Drop. Mike, just drop.
the mic. Doom.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic, and you should all check it out there if you are interested in champion at all, or if you're looking for maybe exploiting some weak points on the champion. There's one who decides that, you know what, topless is the way to go into the battlefield, because you know who doesn't. Okay, Matt, you're up.
Alrighty.
Why don't you talk about our costume contest? The costume contest.
You bet
they
you.
have. Oh wait,
Super-duper-
hold on. Sorry, I'm just gonna put a little bit of background music for you here while you're. Okay, sorry. This is just background music for your. Go ahead.
So, the costume contest results were revealed, and it was also revealed that the voting results were wrecked by Apple.
Yeah.
Bots were apparently employed as the contest was winding down to manipulate the voting in the voting competition, which they knew could happen, but were, hoping for the best out of humanity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. So the voting got wrecked, and they came up with a fairly awesome way to just figure it out. So what they did was they gave away 2 first place prizes to the first place and second place competitors that were within 10 votes of each other.
Before all the botting.
Before
right?
all the botting happened.
They were apparently the clear leaders over the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
Before the botting events started to happen. So that's. Yes, it looked like they were the 2 to beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And then anybody who had over 150 votes got a Amber Pledge package, which is awesome. And then I think everybody who entered the contest, no matter how many votes they got some kind of, I think it was a bronze level pledge.
Yeah, gold
package.
for honorable mentions and
right.
bronze
Yes.
for participants.
Yeah. So, just like once again, voting on for anything on the internet is barking useless.
Yeah. No, and that's too bad. But well done to all the entrants. I remember when we saw that one post, and I guess we didn't quite know what we were talking about. It looked really stupid. Some people went really out of their way. There's a couple of knights that look really great. One that even got the neck part right and really looks the style, the blocky, squatty style of the knight. Got that right. And a couple of really, really great ones, including some graphic effects.
My favorite is the Centurion, who's bucking up, his front paws are up, and that had my vote. Absolutely.
Put that up here.
Creative use of the balloons. I actually really liked the knight that was standing straight up that had like the painted background and everything like that. I thought that actually fit the knight really well. That was a good one.
Which one's the knight there? That one.
It's
okay, yeah.
It's in the
I got it.
runners up.
Yeah, I'm
second
showing
row, second from the right.
Yep, showing it.
Fancy.
Okay,
Definitely showing it.
All right.
Definitely showing it.
So, congratulations to everyone who participated in that, and good job in helping to make the Crowfall community better, because that's what these sort of things do.
Yes, and we got to see J. Todd Coleman as some kind of creepy stalker because of it too.
Yeah, he was a monster. They created a monster. They knew it.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, if people want to get a hold of us, how can they do that?
Well, Chris, I'm glad you asked. They can go to our site, MMOreporter.com, to find all of our lovely podcasts, including this one. They can find us in the Twitterverse various places. For Crowfall related stuff, they can find us at Crowfall Podcast. If they want to chat Chris up, it's Almazar. MMO Bill is just that, MMO Bill. And I am at MMO Matty. As well, we have our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network. And find us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. Come say hi. Come tell us what you think. Yeah, that's it. That's how.
Awesome. Hey, Matt, thanks for recording tonight. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. I like doing it. It was good. Thanks, guys.
Bill, it is becoming increasingly tolerable to be able to record with you.
I'm getting used to it.
I win.
And for those of you who don't know the history of the network and stuff like that, Bill, this is we're getting near like 300 episodes recorded together between all the different shows, right? There's about 100 on Lotro, a couple hundred on
way more than that.
MMO, yeah. So we've been recording for a while. So when I say increasingly tolerable, it's taken a long time to get there. Just so you understand.
You know how many I've done?
6.
6.
Yay! Good job. You deserve.
Yay.
You get a ribbon. Matt.
Oh yes,
Thanks for
I win.
participating.
It's a participation one, isn't it?
It is. Sorry you don't get a bronze pledge package.
No, I like participation ones. They're the best. I have so many.
All right, guys. Thanks. As always, it was an absolute pleasure to record with all of you. It's always fun to come out and talk some Crowfall. We really enjoy it. We hope that all of you enjoyed this week's show. We hope that you download next week's show as well. But most importantly, we can't wait to see you in game. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOReporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.